This one?
Yep, and the next one.
That's better. It's working now.
I thought I was loud enough. I don't know. Item number 2, 51 Fairview Corporation, 5153 Fairview Avenue. Is there anyone here for that application? Have we heard from them at all?
I'll just have on this.
I think that I would entertain to adjourn that one more month and see if we can get some sort of answer from them.
Second that.
From my recollection of the testimony was that it was the owner wasn't even making the application, the bank was making the application. I don't think we need to, I wouldn't adjourn it.
How's everyone else feel?
Was it his mother?
Anyone else?
I think the bank was
I don't-
looking to get.
I thought it was someone, a possible buyer.
Oh.
The application was regarding a possible
They
buyer.
backed- they
What I
backed-
thought.
was that that buyer fell through.
Backed
So.
out.
Okay.
Have they reached out to the town?
Have we heard from them at
I
all?
have not.
She has not heard from them.
Probably.
Reach out to them? I thought you had, that's why.
Okay.
Well, what is the problem with carrying it over one more month, adjourning?
Paul seems to think we don't need to. I'm okay with it. How about everyone else?
I think that, well, Sandy, are there a number of, does this keep anybody else from making their application? Does it keep anybody else from getting on the calendar?
I don't think.
We have a limit for the number of,
We do?
yeah. I believe, no?
Of applications?
For, well, really?
No, there's no limit.
Okay.
You could be here till 2 a.m., Paul.
Okay, I will make a motion that we adjourn item number 2 to September 8th, 2014. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Did you get it, Sandy?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 3, Hani Forquari, 111 Spackenkill Road. Carmen is going to swear you in tonight.
Please state your name.
Ernst Martin.
Mayor Fakori?
Yes. Mr. Martin, Mr. Fakori, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
I do.
Please be advised that you are under oath, and any false statements you make are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
I understand.
Okay, you were here last month. The board had a number of questions, and we wanted to go back and look at the possible accessory apartment. We were there this past Wednesday. The first question I have is, in which portion of the house is the owner going to live, the apartment or the main house?
Currently, he was going to move into the apartment since the main house is rented.
Right, but he's not there now.
He goes back and forth to Florida. He's here in Dutchess County now.
But he's not living in the apartment.
No, the apartment is empty till pending what happens here tonight. But if everything goes as planned, then he's going to put his belongings there and go back and forth.
Go back and forth
To
from...
Florida.
To Florida.
Correct.
And last month you testified that he's in Florida probably 4 or 5 months out of the year.
Yeah, he goes right after Christmas until Easter. He goes to Florida. Then he comes from Easter till about, right before summer. Then he goes back and comes back and forth. So
Okay, and the number of bedrooms that you, in the new application that you submitted, it says 1 bedroom, although clearly there are 2 bedrooms up there.
there's 2 rooms up there. They're only going to use the 1 bedroom. The other room they could be used as a computer room. I could do whatever we got to do.
And the square footage has been
Adjusted on the application.
adjusted on the
yes.
application, correct. Okay, Christine, would you like to start? Do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
If I may just add, I know there was a lot of confusion at the last meeting. Where's the entrance? And also in the application, in addition to that area issue, we tried to clarify the front and the back of the house, where the entrances are to each, the main house and the unit, and as far as the road. And I think being out there, I think that made, between the revised application and I think your site visit, I think that certainly improved that.
That was very helpful, yes. The problem we had with the first application was that it appeared to us that the house plan itself was backwards.
Okay.
We thought the apartment was on the other side. So
Understand.
the site visit was very
Very
helpful,
helpful.
thank you. Paul?
Mr. Fakori, you made the application, both the original one dated June 13th, 2014, and the amended one with the same date?
Actually, we did that. I think we did not put a revised date on it. We just wanted to clarify those two things because there was an obvious error in the area calculation. And as I just mentioned regarding the plan view, we just wanted to add a little clarity to it. I mean, we could put a revised date on there if the board so chose.
Okay. The month and year the home was constructed, that really 1946?
Yeah, when we bought the house in 2003, it was our understanding that it was a small house built in 1946, and then the owner before us went ahead and went obviously through the town, got the building permits, and built what you see there now. So he built off of the smaller house. So
Okay.
the original structure, according to what we understood, was built in 1946, but sometime in, I think, 1990 is when they got a building permit and
Did a major addition and renovation.
Okay. And was that before or after the apartment was put on?
what you see there is how we bought it in 2003. The only thing we added was the cabinets and the kitchen. But that room, there was no additions added when we bought the house.
That wasn't an apartment, though, when you bought the house?
It's exactly what you see there, but it was like a room for the pool because there used to be a pool in the back. So it wasn't a kitchen, correct? There was no cabinets and there was no sink.
There were 2 bedrooms?
Yeah, there's 2 rooms. We didn't add anything else other than the cabinets and the sink and the oven.
Okay.
But that's exactly how we purchased it. Was the 2 rooms, the bathroom, the family room upstairs, and that at the time it was called like a pool room, a wet room, whatever, for changing, going back and forth to the pool.
Okay. And on your application, both of the applications, you said the homeowner, it's homeowner occupied?
Yeah, well, initially when we first made the application, it wasn't. It was rented to 2 different families. And then when we caught wind that you couldn't do it, we went ahead and one of the tenants moved out and we kept it empty pending that.
Right, but when you made the application, it was not owner occupied, and it's not owner occupied now, correct?
Right now, it's not owner occupied, no. We left 1 unit empty so my dad can occupy it.
Okay.
But his intention is to move back in as soon as this is all cleared up.
Okay. And additionally, when you fill it out, there are no open building permits or violations regarding the property. You indicated no, but don't you have an order to remedy about the apartment, the illegal apartment?
Yeah, that's what we're
That's the purpose of this application.
Right, so I'm confused about why you put there were no violations on your application.
I personally
Well-
fill out the application, sir. I think
Yeah, I mean, I can take credit or not the credit for that. That's probably true, what you're saying is true, but what we did is we foiled the building permit file, and we went through to see if there were any open out violations, and based on that, that's why I responded in that manner.
Okay, but it's signed by you, Mr. Fakori, the application?
I did, yes. Ernie Martin's office filled out the application, and I briefly reviewed it and signed on behalf of my father. That's correct.
Okay, and in the most recent affidavit allowing you to appear, that's not signed by your dad, but there is a letter now?
There's a letter, and also I have a power of attorney, and I have a power of attorney on behalf of my father,
Okay,
which I could submit to the board if you choose.
okay. So now, where in Florida does your dad live?
He lives in Deltona, Florida.
And he owns property there, or
I own the property there.
you own the property?
Yeah.
And do you know where he's registered to vote?
He's still a New York resident. His license is in New York and everything is in New York. He hasn't switched over, not even his car. His car is still registered in New York. His car insurance, his car license and registration.
Do you have copies of any of those documentation?
I could forward it to the board. That's not a problem. I could fax over a copy of his license, a copy of his car registration, car insurance.
Is he registered to vote?
Actually, believe it or not, the house, what's it called? The electric bill is still in his name. And what else is in his name? The garbage bill there is still in his name. I think that's pretty much it. The electric and the garbage bill is still in his name on Spack and Kill.
And when's the last time he lived in New York?
He comes back and forth. I mean, he was here. Actually, he's here now, but he's planning to go back after, if we need him for anything here. And also his inspection on his car is due, so he came back for that. But he goes back and forth. I mean, he was here last month. His brother passed away, actually a month and a half ago. There was a tragic accident in the family. So he came home for that, and then he went back, and he came back, so.
Where does he stay when he comes back to New York?
Before we rented the house out, he stayed with me in Stormville, East Fishkill. Or if he decides to go to my brother's house for the weekend, but he picks and chooses. But currently, when he comes, most of the time he spends it with me.
And that's what you consider living in New York?
I mean, he's a New Yorker, so he's been here his whole life. He still hasn't switched his
He's
life.
not here, right? When's the last time he lived at 111 Spack and Kill?
Since I moved to East Fishkill.
And how long was that?
2 years ago.
Okay. And how long has he been living in Florida?
We bought the house January 2013. No, I'm sorry, December 2013. He's been there January, February, March. He came back for Easter, April, May, June. He went back July, came back for the death, went back with my nephews for a few weeks, and came back. So he's back and forth.
And when you say we, who do you mean?
Him and my mom.
When we bought the house, who do you mean by we?
My father, when my parents bought the house. My
Earlier
family.
you testified that you bought the house.
In Florida, yeah, I bought the house in Florida. I'm talking about the Spack and Kill house.
Just a moment ago, you said when we bought the house in Florida, who's we?
There's no we. I'm the only owner of the house in Florida. It's under my name. And I could verify that. I could send you the copy of the deed. And again, I am an officer of the court as an attorney, so I wouldn't lie under oath.
Well,
Mr. Lanning.
that's interesting that you say that, except for the application that you
But
signed.
I understand the circumstances of the application. Again, I didn't fill out the application. I reviewed it with Ernie briefly. I obviously we're here because there's a violation of the apartment, so we could clarify that that wasn't done intentionally. If that was a
Well, again, I'll repeat myself. We reviewed all the records at the building department, and there was no outstanding violations. And that's why I stated that.
But didn't you have the order to remedy before you fill out the second form?
Well, that was issued, yes.
Then you did know there was a problem.
I mean, that's why we're here, to straighten it out, so.
Right, but we had to evaluate the things that you're saying with the things that we've seen and the other evidence.
Okay.
So your original application is not particularly accurate.
I apologize, Ms. Elahi. Again, I hired Ernie. We go long, my family and Ernie's business, we go back for a while now, and I trust him fully. He filled out the application for me because I figured get him, he's a professional, he does this more than I do. So he filled it out. I briefly reviewed it, make sure the information was accurate. I didn't, if I saw that it said if there's a violation, obviously I would have wrote yes, but it's not a secret. That's why we're here today. I wouldn't.
Were you confused about the question?
You're saying on the application, there's a question about if there's
There's
any.
a question about whether it was owner occupied. Were you confused about that question?
If it's owner occupied.
That was a question that you answered, that was answered no, and you signed. Was that a confusing question?
Ms. Elahi, again, not the one who, obviously we signed on behalf of my father, but I didn't fill out the application. It wasn't owner occupied, it was rented out to two families. Once we,
Right, I think we determined that.
okay. So I
Those answers are
apologize for the
incorrect.
confusion. I will clarify it for you guys. At the time, it was not owner occupied, and we had rented out to 2 people.
Okay. That's all I have.
And again, I apologize for the confusion. If maybe I should have went into the application a little bit more before I signed it. I just figured Ernie knew all the facts and details when I explained to him what was going on.
Okay.
Art,
What?
do you have any questions?
Yes. I got a question for Neil, I believe, if I may. The question of when the house was built, again, Paul pointed out, and it says here 46 versus 85. Do we know for a fact that it was built in the 40s? The original structure? Is there any way you can prove that?
I don't believe it goes that far back, but I'd have to check our records. I don't know.
Okay. Because I don't recall a house being there. I lived there a lot of years. I don't recall a house being there. I'd just like to know that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I can
Yeah,
find that out.
that's goes way back. Okay. The other question for the gentleman. This is a house for sale?
It is.
Did you say last time that it was not for sale when we asked you?
It was for sale, then they took it off the market, and then it went back for sale. So
When did it go back for sale?
I'm not sure. Whatever might.
Not sure.
Which, he has the right to sell his
That's
house
true.
if he wants to.
But you made statements last time that it was not for sale.
It went back and forth, Mr. Grace. The house was for sale, wasn't for sale. Then my parents tried to do a modification. Pending his poor health, he underwent 2 heart attacks, decline of his,
Modification for what?
excuse me,
Modification of?
the mortgage. He went tried to do a mortgage modification to keep the property. He fought to keep the property. He still owns the property. He was fighting to try to modify the mortgage. So there's a whole history.
And I'm not sure exactly, but I thought we had asked those questions as well at the last meeting, and you indicated that was not
No,
fact. That
he's
it was-
still. I made a
That he was
statement.
not, that the house was not in jeopardy? Didn't you tell us that last time?
I never made that statement. The house is undergoing modifications, and he's trying to keep the property. That's what the statement I wrote was. The statement I stated was that he owns the house. That's accurate. He's still the owner of the house. He didn't lose the house. There was statements made by other people in the audience that we lost the house, and I said he's still the owner. I think somebody from the board questioned if it was under a corporation or if it wasn't under somebody else's name, and that it's under my dad's name. That's the statements I made.
Going back to Mr. Leahy's question, can you tell us, or me, you're very vague on how long your father and/or mother live in New York. When they come up, you say they come up back and forth, off and on, this and that. You talking a month, 2 months, 3 months?
He goes.
I mean, I need more accurate dates.
Well, this has been. He moved to. He went to. We bought the house. I bought the house in Florida in the end of 2013. So this is recent. He hasn't been in Florida for years and years. So I could give you a more accurate statement. Pending the last year and a half. Actually, it hasn't even been a year. He's been going. He left from January, February, March. He came back for Easter. April, May. Went back. He came back suddenly, but there was a family death. And he went back with my nephews, and he came back. I mean, so it's not, I can't, he goes back and forth. I don't know, I'd have to sit down and really write down the months and stuff, but he goes back and forth.
So you're indicating that he's been here 2 or 3 months in the past year in New York?
Well, we did sort of cover that, and I asked where he stayed. He stayed with him.
But he's being to me, it's very vague on how long he's in New York State. And
How long he's lived in New York State?
How long he comes up?
How long he-
Part of this owner occupied?
His question is, how
When he comes
long?
back, how long does he stay? Does he stay a week, 2 weeks? You're saying he stayed 2 months.
The last time he came,
Easter.
he stayed for 2 months. Then he went back. Then he came back briefly. And he's planning to go back. I mean, I don't know how to, he goes back and forth. So I can't give you a timeline of he goes there for 10 months or he just comes back and forth. And that's the plan. He comes back for the holidays. He'll come back for Thanksgiving, all the way till New Year's Day. He'll go there for a few months to get out of the winter. He'll come back for So that's the game plan. I can't to give you an exact timeline. I can't. I don't know.
I'm done for now, Betty.
Carmen, do you have any questions for the applicant?
Yes, I think I'd like to go back to the residency requirements. When you can still claim to be a citizen of New York, is it a 6-month? Is that the way it goes with people who go to Florida, 6 months, they're here 6 months? I'm just not sure.
I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a simple yes or no 6-month question. I think it has to do with, where your license is, how much time you spend.
Yeah.
I mean, I could
Right.
research it for you, but it's
The
not
other
not a
documentation.
simple number.
Okay.
I don't believe.
Well, there are different requirements.
But because as I listen to all the comments, it's hard to imagine that your father is actually, would be owner occupying at Spackenkill for 6 months.
Well, if all goes as planned, nobody else is gonna live in the house except him and my mom when they do come back and forth. So we're not gonna rent it to two different families. I'm sure the neighbors they'll know, or whoever moves in is gonna do an address, or mail's gonna get there. So I'm sure it's not gonna be a secret. We could hide it. So it's only gonna be available just to my parents. So regardless if they stay there for a month or 3 months, or they go back and forth, that they're the only ones who are gonna use it. So
Okay.
we don't have any intention to rent it out to two different people. If my parents want to come in and use it for a month and go back and forth, that's,
Okay.
so.
But in generally, they tend to live with you or another family member when they come
They
out?
live with me only because we rented out the house before. But
Okay.
now, since the situation that we're in, and they have the availability to be there, then I'm sure they'll take it, of course.
Okay. No further questions.
Anthony?
No questions.
Sure.
Larry?
I'm just curious, originally, your intent was to rent it out to two people. So now when you found out you couldn't do that, you going through all of this just to have your father live there when you weren't interested in that to begin with?
You know, Lawrence, if I may, I went into the town because of my reputation. So I met with Neil and I met with Sarah, and I said, listen, whatever we got to do to make it right. I could have easily just rented the whole house to the one person and didn't even have to go through this. I mean, he has the right. He owns the house. He could rent it to one family. That's his right. We didn't have to go through this. Right now, I could just leave everything alone and rent the whole house, or even not even care. But I wanted to try to fix the problem that we were in, and that's why I got Ernie, and we spent the money. So that's why we're doing this. I mean, I could have easily just rented to who was there right now, Daniel Fitzpatrick. He would have took the whole house and end of story. Or got rid of the kitchen. I think that was one of the options, was to get rid of the kitchen, and we wouldn't even be here today. But I said, no, let me just go through it. I'll do it. And that's where I am.
Did you say your father's here now?
Yes.
Is he well enough to live in that apartment if he's had, I mean, I keep getting the feeling that he's not well,
He's not well. He's had multiple stents put in, and he's got heart condition.
because the restroom is upstairs and the
Yeah, I mean,
bedroom
no,
is upstairs.
he's well enough to go up and down the stairs. He's just not, I don't like to put any type of pressure on him. That's why I don't have him come with me to certain meetings, so.
Okay. Is there anyone else? Have anything? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment on this application? Come on. Yes. Oh, your mic is over there. Well, they were gonna sit there, so. Yeah, yes, you can sit there, please.
Good evening, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen. Here we are again.
You please state
Tell
your...
us your name and Carmen will swear
My
you
name
in.
is Irene Monk, and I live at 109 Spackenkill Road.
What is the last name?
Monk?
Monk, okay. Ms. Monk, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please be advised that you're under oath, and any false statements you make are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York. And your name, sir?
Victor Fernandez.
Pardon me?
Fernandez, Victor.
Okay, Victor. Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please be advised that you're under oath, and any false statements you make are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, well, I would like to clarify what Mayor just said. I never said they lost the house. What I did say is that it's in foreclosure. I gave you documentation. I gave you the document that was the response of JP Morgan Chase requesting that the state court basically make a decision, see the evidence, make a decision whether or not this house has had the mortgage paid, taxes paid, and the bills that are pursuant to property ownership. Now, you will see in December, Hani makes a response, and his response to every issue that J.P. Morgan has is that he has no knowledge, he claims ignorance, or basically has no idea what they're talking about. So I gave you that document. So in clarity, I didn't say they lost the house. What I did say is now the mortgage has been called due. They've been collecting conservatively with rent $50,000 over the last 2 years. Now, that's personal, and that was not my intention if that's how it was taken. It's personal information, it's public record. The reality of it is you all can appreciate that Victor and I bought Becker's Nursery. So if you're familiar with that property and what it looked like, we have spent an enormous amount of money, time, and energy to bring it where it is today. I had people stop in my driveway and comment how nice the house looks. I'm going to be buried in the backyard. I'm not moving. And so the reality of it is there are houses in that community, have accessory apartments. You drive by every day, you never know.
That's true.
Property is maintained and civilized. Our past meeting, we discussed the details of it hasn't been owner occupied in 2 years, that they were served foreclosure notice at the same time they're moving out. And as you can tell, my fear is that how do you manage owner occupied? Now, Mahar is an officer of the court. On top of it, he has his father's power of attorney, and he failed in a fiduciary responsibility to actually read a document that he signed and had notarized. And so Friday, I went down to the zoning office and I asked to see the application. Now, public record is anyone interested in this matter should have the information that's current and correct, and it wasn't available. So I believe that anyone has the right to their property to do this accessory apartment. That's not my problem. My problem is managing it based on actions. And so the reality of what we've experienced has been we've had multiple cars, so the driveway is way too big. When they moved in, they extended the driveway. On top of the fact, we had water and sewer line work done, and they had to jackhammer over the sewer cover because they moved the driveway and covered the sewer line with asphalt. So we've witnessed this. My property, we've worked hard for. We just want to maintain value. We want to maintain a civil existence. There's a lot of inaccuracies with what Mayor said and what he attested to. That's obvious. So my question is how are you going to maintain what the designation and monitor owner-occupied mean? In New York State, by tax code, it's 6 months and 1 day. And there is a tremendous amount of legal cases that have gone, and it's not necessarily just driver's license and voting record. It's based on behavior. So it's not so much of what you say or even documents, it's your behavior.
Most of, or the town code has very definite criteria that has to be met before a special use permit can be issued. And that's what our function is, to look at the criteria and see if in fact they do meet the requirements. And that's what we've been working on. And we thank you for your comments. Are you
I have nothing.
ditto?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak on this matter? If not, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All righty. Item number 4, Tony and Nancy Russ, 27 Regency. Is there anyone here for that application? Okay,
We did submit a letter today, I don't know if that was.
yes, we do have your letter. Now, my question, Dennis, is if the applicant is not here and we're probably going to adjourn it, do we need to read that letter into the record, or can we wait until, if we adjourn it to next month, can we save it for next month?
You can save it for next month. I mean, my feeling is you actually don't even have to read the letters into the record. You could actually just have them be part of the record. You don't, I mean, I think it's a courtesy that this town does to the people listening. However, you may just want to read it into the record, make sure the applicant gets a copy, just because that way we don't take the chance that somebody forgets next month. Since your practice is to read it into the record, so you might just want to read it in tonight, since the gentleman made the effort.
Okay. I mean, I'm okay to save it for
Next month.
for next month.
Agenda to remind us. Put on your agenda to remind us to read it next month.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it is part of the record. I mean, you could acknowledge that it's part of the record anyway, even if it's not read. You all have a copy.
All right, so the board did receive a letter dated August 11, 2014 from Stephen and Laura Mance at 27 or 29 Regency, right? And included with that are pictures, right? So, and this is another application that I would entertain a motion to adjourn it to September 8th, and in the meantime, contact them and see if we can determine their intent. I mean,
And then I would also let the folks here know that they can call before the next meeting to find out.
to find out if it's going to be still, or what's going to happen to it, because this is another application where there's no one here. Is there a second?
Here.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we adjourn that one to 9:14. Okay. All right, number 5, Miguel Rosario, 6 Debbie Court. Okay. And you are, sir?
Miguel Rosario.
Carlo Mazzarelli, Mazzarelli Architecture and Planning.
I have this one.
Okay. Please state your name.
Miguel Rosario.
Pardon me?
Rosario, Miguel Rosario.
Okay. And you?
Carlo Mazzarelli.
Okay, Mr. Mazzarelli. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Please be advised that you are under oath, and any false statements you make are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
Okay, you were here last month. There was a question as to how much space was dedicated to the home occupation.
Yes, we can answer that.
All right.
It's approximately 22%.
22%?
Yes, there's about, I gotta get the distance right, 625 square feet. And the house is about 2,840 square feet.
There's one question. I had written down last time your hours of operation, and was it 7 in the morning that you started?
10.
10 in the morning. 10 to,
Depends on who's there. Could be 5:30, could be 7.
okay. And then you had classes like from 1 to 6 sometimes? With more than,
No, the workout sessions?
yeah,
Workout sessions are from 10 to 10:30, and, I mean, from 11 to 11:30, I'm sorry, and from 5 to 5:30.
and that was how many people at one time?
5,
Probably 5 people at
Yeah.
one time.
yeah, or less.
And you live at 6
Debbie
Debbie
Court,
Court,
yeah.
right? Okay. So I'm trying to determine if you have 5 people at one class, is that once a day? Maybe you'll have a class 10:30 this morning and maybe another one at 3:30 in the afternoon?
5:30, 5 o'clock. Yeah, but it's different people.
Yeah, I understand it's different people. What I'm trying to determine is how many trips per day your business would generate.
Now I have the massage also, so that's like single person at a time. But as far as the workouts, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday in the morning, 11 to 11:30, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 5.
So you really have a crowd.
Well, they're basically the same people almost. Yeah.
Chairwoman
'Cause they can
Bava, are you
come as
looking
many
at letter F, the home occupation generation of trips?
Yeah.
I think that, doesn't that relate to commercial trips, like a commercial delivery and drop-off? So
Oh,
that's not the customer.
I was waiting to see where we're
That
going with
would
this.
deal, the questions you're asking deals with the number of people he's permitted to have at one time, which I believe, I can't see it right here, but I know is 5. I'm trying to find where.
Yeah.
That's correct, it's
M,
5.
letter M, service instruction shall be limited to no more than 5 clients at a time.
Yes.
So that would be if he had, it's more like someone running a bakery in their house that's got people dropping off flour and chocolate chips and.
Okay, thank you. All right, Christine, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Paul?
I'm sorry, do you have any certification or licensing?
Yeah, I got certified through Gold's Gym.
Okay, as a trainer?
Personal trainer, yeah.
Okay, and the massage that you're performing?
Massage.
Are you a massage therapist?
Yes.
Through the Department of Education or whomever?
Yeah, and I've got certificates in shiatsu and jinshindo.
Okay. That's all I have.
You have nothing? Carmen?
And yes, I just want to go back to, how early in the morning do your clients come?
The earliest is 10 o'clock.
It's what time?
10.
10 o'clock, okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Anthony?
No questions.
Larry? I just have one. I don't know why I didn't have it written down. Do you have any employees at all?
No.
No one that comes in and helps you or any of that? Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment on this application? If not, I would take a motion to close the public hearing. Is
So moved.
there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank
you.
Thank you.
Item number 6, 2175, 2185 South Road.
Good evening.
Hi,
Joseph.
state your name.
Sure. Joseph Minuta, registered architect with Minuta Architecture. Jason Litchwick, Minuta Architecture.
Okay. Okay, gentlemen, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be advised that you're under oath, and any false statements you make are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
I do.
Proceed.
All right, we had held this over because we could not vote on it last month because the planning board had not made their seeker determination. Is it done? Do you know if the planning board
think they have.
made their seeker determination on this?
Done, yeah, they're just here for the final approval on this special permit.
Okay, all right. Unless anyone has any questions, anyone on the board have questions for this applicant?
No questions.
Okay, in that case, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to comment on this application? Hearing none, I make a motion that we close the public hearing.
So,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that was
was easy.
harmless. So far.
Okay.
You can either stay and wait for the determination, or you could call the office in the morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Theodore, 3 Springside Avenue. Oh, good.
I can find unless it's under.
Did you say something, Janice?
I was just telling Paul something.
Can you state your name?
My name is Christian Paggi, on behalf of the applicant, Benoni Theodore.
Ms. Buckley, where you?
Yes. Mr. Paggi, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be advised that you're under oath, and any false statements you make are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
Understood.
Okay, proceed.
This also was adjourned because the planning board had to make a determination, which was done. Last month, it appeared that a couple of us on the ZBA had gone to the wrong site.
Yes, we did.
Sometimes we make errors. Went to the wrong site. I was happy to find out the real site because it totally changed my mind.
Had a house on it.
I'm glad.
Had a big house on it.
Mr. Grace is going to argue about it now. I have no further questions. Carmen, do you have any further questions?
No, and it is such an improvement over the previous structure there. Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, the applicant is really looking forward to, kind of mirroring that look on the new lot if it was approved, so.
Right. It's basically the same
Absolutely.
floor plan,
Yep.
right? Yeah. Okay, no further questions.
Anthony, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Laura?
No questions.
Christine?
No questions.
Paul?
No, thank you.
Art?
No questions.
Again, it was painless. Okay, or is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address this application? Hearing none, I would accept a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you very much.
You can wait till the deliberations, or you could just call the office in the morning.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Kristen Magliotta, 18 Mountain View Road. Your old neighborhood. The old hood, Jesus.
It's actually 16 Mountain View.
Oh,
Oh, and
your old neighborhood, and you didn't get it right?
okay.
That's funny. Hi.
Mr. Chairman, this is a neighbor, so I'm going to recuse myself.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Liz, do you want to sit in for?
Okay. Ms. Magliato. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please be advised that you're under oath, and any false statements you make are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York. Thank you.
Okay, do you live there currently now?
I do. I lived there for 1 year.
Oh, okay, all right. And you want to have a beauty salon?
Yes.
Can you, what, is it certain days of the week, every day of the week?
Yes. My parents bought the house a year ago. They are renting it to me. I currently own a hair salon in Highland for the past 11 years. Unfortunately, being forced to close it. So I'm looking to convert my dining room. I already have a sink and a chair in there. I've done friends and family there for a year because I keep my business at my business, and my friends and family have to come to my house when I'm not working. I would like to be able to have the flexibility to work 7 days a week. I am a single mom, so I need to generate as much income as I can.
Okay, do you typically work just mornings, like say 9 to 3, or?
I basically work when clients want to come in, which is usually between 9 and 1, and usually after work between 4:30 and 7.
Yeah, that makes sense. And 7 days a week if you could. You don't do you sell things there like shampoo?
No, I
and-
don't.
No? Okay.
No.
So no sales. Okay. Do we have the, about how many people do you think you may have appointments for in a day?
I actually brought a sample of my appointment book the way I work now. In a day, if I'm doing mostly hair colors, I do about 5 people. If I'm doing haircuts and hair colors, it can be up to 10 people. But I try to work on one client at a time. Occasionally, I will have a hair color processing and a haircut that I do while that color is processing.
Okay. Carmen, do you have any questions?
You don't have an assistant or anyone to help?
No, that's one of the reasons I'm being forced to close my business.
Right.
Just
okay.
me.
Okay, so, and parking's not an issue then?
No, I have a nice long driveway, so.
No, I know, we were there. So, I don't have any further questions.
I'm okay, no questions.
Larry?
No question.
Christine, do you have any questions?
Do you plan to have a sign there?
No. No, we put a nice big 16 on the mailbox. I thought that was good enough.
Okay.
I have no questions.
Art? Okay, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address this application? If not, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. You can.
Thank you very much.
Wait for the deliberations, or you could just call the office in the morning.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Burger Fi, 60 Raymond Avenue.
Hello,
Oh, okay. Please state your name.
Anthony Kesselmark.
Tesselberg. Oh, and,
Terry Salino.
pardon me?
Terry Salino.
Terry Selena?
Barbara Fitzgerald.
Barbara Fitzgerald. Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, miss.
Please be advised that you're under oath, and any false statements you make are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
Thank you.
Okay, tell the board why you're here.
I'm applying for a variance in my signage from the 15 square feet to 27 square feet for a new business.
Okay, the county had some comments, so I'm going to read this to you.
Absolutely.
Okay. To the Zoning Board of Appeals, Town of Poughkeepsie, referral 14-275, area variance, wall sign, BurgerFi. The Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development has reviewed the submitted referral for countywide and intermunicipal impacts as outlined in General Municipal Law, Article 128, I think that's 239-1. Action. The applicant is seeking an area variance to allow a wall sign of 27.5 square feet where only 15 square feet is permitted. The property is located in the Arlington Town Center District. The restaurant is located in the building that includes the Juliet/Vassar bookstore complex. Comments. We are pleased to see that the original Juliet marquee has been preserved as part of the rehabilitation of this historic neighborhood building. Since the marquee is not available for signage to identify the BurgerFi restaurant, the proposed sign would be located on the Raymond Avenue facade at the opposite end of the building from the corner marquee. Although there is clearly a need for signage to identify the restaurant, it should be limited to established neighborhood standards to the extent possible, especially on this important structure. The total square footage of the proposed sign totals 27.5 square feet, including the name and logo of the restaurant, and approximately 9.5 square feet reciting the food and drink served in the establishment. eliminating that 9.5 square foot area directly below the name and logo would bring the proposed sign into closer compliance with the 15 square foot maximum allowed by Arlington Town Center regulations and be more compatible with the character of the building and the neighborhood. Recommendation, the department recommends that the board rely upon its own study of the facts in the case with due consideration of the above comments. Signed, Noella Hooper, Senior Planner. I have to say I agree, but in order for you to get the variance that you're asking for, it would have to be a majority plus one vote of the board. And then we have to explain to the county why we overruled. So, I guess my first question, and I didn't need the county to tell me that, but can you live with BurgerFi without all the fries, et cetera, underneath?
Well, I mean, the reason we're doing this is because most people don't know BurgerFi. It's a new concept to the area. So we want to make them as aware as possible. And we never, when Vassar came to us and said, hey, we know we told you originally that you'd be able to have some space on the marquee possibly, but we're not going to do that. Do you have any problems? I said, no, I understand that. Juliet has been a landmark for years. I was born and raised in the area, went to see movies there, shot pool there years later, which is part of the excitement of it. But when you come around the circle and, when you're coming down Raymond Avenue and the college is on your right-hand side approaching that circle, you don't know what's there. I mean, you'll see the bookstore side of it, but there's no visibility whatsoever. So when you're coming around the circle and you actually get onto that part of Raymond Avenue, my concern is that people are going to pass it before they actually understand, what it is or what's going on.
Burger kind of sums it up for me.
It doesn't really sum it up because we're not McDonald's, we're not Five Guys, we're not, if it was McDonald's, I would agree 100% because people know McDonald's. Everybody knows McDonald's in the area. 9.5 out of 10 people don't know what BurgerFi is or what we sell, and that's the immediate question that goes in their mind. So, like I understand that without the tagline, it would fit into that space, but the tagline is a big part of it in my eyes, especially for a new concept. Again, if everybody was aware of the concept, I wouldn't, I'd agree 100%, but they're just not, and I'm just trying to ensure, that we stay there for a long time, so.
Okay, let's go around the board. Christine?
No questions.
Paul?
I'm sorry, did the county interpret the sign as greater than 27.5 square feet?
The county said it was, she took it away from me already. No, they said it was 27. The proposed
0.5.
sign is 27.5 square feet, including the name and logo of the restaurant,
Okay.
and approximately 9.5 square feet reciting the food and drink.
27 in total, they're saying it is, correct? Not 27 plus 9. The sign is,
Well,
the
that-
sign is 27 in total.
Altogether, the sign's 27,
Sorry,
including.
27.5.
Yes, Mr. Leahy.
Yeah.
Traditionally, we've asked people to come in with a rendition of what the sign would look like if it met the code, what you're looking for, and then something in between. Is that something you can do?
Terry, did you have one that fit the code? Yeah, you could take that and they can pass it around.
And it does in fact rise above the cement portion that's there, right?
Yes.
That is your plan?
By two bricks, yes.
Well, it looks like more than two in the picture, but it would seem to me, how is it that you didn't choose to put BurgerFi right within the cement, that cement space there that looks like it was made for a sign?
Well, if it wasn't, if we didn't care so much about the tagline, then it would,
That would look really nice in there.
then the BurgerFi would be in there. But again, just to ensure it being the first store in the area and, doing what we can to obviously protect our investment and be there for a long period of time, every little bit matters, especially in the restaurant industry with the competition. There's a lot of burger chains, there's a lot of places around, and every little bit helps. I mean, what I did actually, BurgerFi gave us a sign package, and there were 7 signs. I didn't, they were pushing me to go in and ask for something extremely large, like the 70 square foot sign, and I refused to do it. I said, I'm taking the smallest sign on there because I understood the history of the building, and that's what I'm going to, I don't want to waste anybody's time going back and forth and asking for a 70 square foot sign. I took the absolute minimum sign that they gave us, that they require traditionally in most spaces, and submitted that one instead for the sake of everybody's time and for the sake of the, preserving the history of the Juliet.
Okay.
Yeah, do you have any, and not to steal your thunder, but.
You did.
Okay. I'm gonna steal a little bit more of it. You can utilize the window space,
Yes.
so
Inside.
if you kept the BurgerFi on the facade and put the natural burgers, fries, dogs in the windows, is that something you could live with?
I believe by law, we can put 25% of our window space for signage, but
Correct.
that's something that I'm not looking to do is clutter up the windows with that much stuff. I mean, I want people to be able to see in and see out clearly. That was a big part of all the window space to see the action going on in there and,
Okay. I have to tell you, though, that I think that based upon the rendition you gave of the 15 square foot, that includes everything in there, that's likely all, if that's all that you got, you might be better served by using a bigger, using the 15 square feet for a bigger BurgerFi, and then utilizing the windows, but that's up to you. That's all I have.
Art?
The question on that second sign, wherever it went, wherever it is that one they offer, or is that just your rendition of?
That's a rendition. That's not.
So they don't offer that sign?
Well, I mean, ultimately, BurgerFi will, they're going to give us a really hard time on everything, but I mean, who knows what will happen. That's not what they submitted. Again, the smallest one that they submitted was 27.5 and up to 90 square feet, believe it or not.
But if push comes to shove and they want to open an establishment, I would think they probably.
We go with a franchise because they put out outlines that, help ensure the success of a business. So, when we buy into a franchise, we hope that, we'll be able to do these things because they have the formula to, for success. And it's pretty, So push comes to shove, we'd be pushing against somebody that's saying, no, you're not, your concept isn't right. It's, this is what pretty much we have to do. I mean,
Okay.
Do you buy the sign from the BurgerFi Corporation or whatever?
We have
You
it
buy the
fabricated.
sign from them?
No, we have it, we have it fabricated. They offer.
Because I'm wondering, you fabricate it, right, Barb?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what
we
I
do.
thought.
Yep.
But when it comes to something like that, you'd have to have permission. So I'm not sure how was this for an
So to
install?
modify the sign, you have to have permission from BurgerFi?
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay, all right, that was mine. All right. Carmen, do you have any questions?
I'm not objecting to the size as much, except I really don't like the menu underneath. And, we've had this problem with restaurants before. And you would utilize the window space, wouldn't you?
Not all of it. I wasn't planning on utilizing the 25% because I do not want to clutter every window with something again, because I think it's important that you see the people inside and that people can look outside. I mean, that's why we, I don't want to use those windows as billboards. I mean, honestly, I think that looks, I think that would look worse, having stuff in every window all the way across the board, in my opinion.
But there's so many ways to do that, to inform people about what is on the menu, and
not without getting them inside.
Not necessarily.
The location is, again, we didn't fight on anything else, but when you're driving down the street with a new concept, keep in mind the new concept. That's the most important thing. Again, if it was McDonald's, if it was Five Guys, it's a no-brainer. Like I get it, everybody, they've been around for a long time, but we have not. There's only 60 stores in the company right now, and this is the first one in the area. So people do not know, and in this day and age, with all the competition, I think it's fairly important to have the tagline. I mean,
I hear what you're saying. Those Vassar students, they'll know what's
They'll
in
know
there.
in 30 seconds.
We're not relying this. The reaction has been the same to everybody. You're gonna do great because of Vassar. It's Vassar is a great partner. They've been wonderful. They're going to be great landlords. But it's not just about Vassar. I mean, we're in the community. I mean, we're not going to do well just from Vassar. I mean, if we're relying just on Vassar, we're in trouble right there. I mean, I plan on it being a good portion of the business in the community. And we fight a lot of things in the area. I mean, we knew parking is going to be an issue down here. Which is the biggest issue, honestly. But I mean, so every little bit, when you're fighting all those things, every little bit helps.
However, Raymond Avenue is also a walking and driving community. It's both over there. So,
no, very well. I've been, still, all my family's still in the area.
Sure.
Yep, and I know the area very, very well. Yep.
I just don't think you're going to have a problem. Informing people about the menu, but I would not want to see the menu under BurgerFi.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anthony?
I do have a question for the
Sure.
applicant. At this time, we're faced with having to grant you this variance, which, when you hear what the county says, it makes it hard to do that.
Mhm.
So the way I see it is there's only two solutions here. One, you take, what would be your preference, to do a 15 square foot sign with the lettering, or take the 18 square foot sign, basically as presented in your application, and losing natural burgers, fries, dogs, custard, craft beers, and wine, and really looking to put that in the windows?
That's not something I can tell you right now. I mean, I can't answer those questions without approval from corporate. If I did, I would I'd be speaking out of term. I'd probably be a contract violation, honestly, if I made a decision based on that.
What are they going to do? I mean, if it's not something that you can control. I mean, I will tell you, there are no golden arches in Hyde Park.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, having said that, you're looking to just adjourn this at this point until you can get information.
I mean,
because that's the only two decisions we have.
Yeah.
Well, if you adjourn it, what if we do go back to corporate and we're able to do something that cuts down on the square footage, but it still requires a variance? How would you feel about that?
Myself personally,
If we could fit
I
it
would
in the
have no
sign
trouble with BurgerFi if it was in that nice little area that's all nice and smooth, that looks like a perfect spot for a sign. The natural burger, fries, dogs, all of that. Even coming, when you were talking about coming around the circle and going down Raymond Avenue, there is no way that you could be driving and reading all that. You just couldn't. And you have to be right in front of the storefront to be able to read it anyway. You know, it's not like it's hanging out over the front, and don't want to give you any ideas, but,
No
you know,
ideas there.
for me, I would like to see it sitting in that little natural spot that was made for a sign, and I don't need all the menu portion there. Now, if you want to take that back to corporate and say, this is what they want to do for us,
I mean,
no, that's what Anthony is trying to tell you.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to give you what you want tonight.
Yeah.
And quite possibly, we may not be able to do it at all, because you have to have a majority plus one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think if you're listening to what the board's saying, you're probably not going to get that.
Everybody's made their decision already.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
not that the
obviously.
decision's
yeah.
been made,
So
but you have to-
It has, but
you
I
have
mean,
to-
to be honest, it's true. Everybody's made their decision. So my options are 15 square feet or 15 square feet.
Or come.
18 square.
Well,
18.
something else I think that you could do.
Yes,
If-
sir.
If you withdrew your application and then you're allowed to do it, then you're allowed to use the 15 square feet
Yep.
any way you like.
Yep.
If corporate says that you can do something else, something less than the 27 and a half, I think you can make a new application and we can act on that. But if you were to leave your application here, I'm pretty sure it would be denied.
Yeah.
All right, so.
And then there's a time limit before when you can come back.
But there's also, you might want to avoid a fee though, because if you reapply, there's a whole new fee, right? So you might want to adjourn it, talk to corporate, and amend it without, because amending, do you
And
charge a
we
fee
can
to amend?
always make a decision afterwards about what we want to do.
You may
But
want to
basically-
discuss that amongst yourselves on what you're,
Basically, the
So you're
thing
saying that
is,
18 square feet, just the BurgerFi, or 15 square feet, I could do whatever I want? Pretty much. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, I
Or
can't.
if you're going to talk to corporate and come up with an alternative, you can present that as well, is what Paul is saying.
What's the delay? How long will it take, if they come back with a new application, how long will it take the county to respond to that? Is that like 2
they
months?
have 30 days, do they have 30 days to answer?
Yeah, they have 30 days, but typically they do it in less time than that.
Okay. Do you have time limit? I mean, you're not moving in tomorrow, right?
Be open September 16th.
They can hang a banner.
Yeah, a temporary permit, a temporary sign permit, yeah.
can I throw out a scenario? If we get it within the sign band, which we actually have a drawing of, but it does have the tagline, if we could get that approved for corporate,
You don't need, for corporate, yes.
from corporate, and it's a little bit lower in square footage, is that a possibility? Or are you just so against a tagline that we're hopeless there?
If it fits in that spot.
The 15 square feet, they can put whatever they want, right?
Unfortunately, you have to direct that question to Neil, because I should have said at the beginning of the application, I have to actually have a conflict on this property, because it's related to the Vassar properties, and we represent Vassar, so we'll let Neil answer that.
Yeah, the 15 square feet, they can do whatever they wish.
You can do whatever you want.
Oh, that I understand.
Okay. So if you
We're-
get
we're not-
approval,
We're not going to get an approval from corporate for a sign that's unreadable with the tagline at
Why don't
15
you
square
submit
feet.
that, you have a rendering of something in
little
between the
bit.
27 and a half and the 15?
It's not 15, it's,
Right, yeah.
it's a little bit less, but the scenario I'm looking for, so he can get a business open the way he would like to, is within that sign band, if we can get corporate to say, okay, it's 22, would
you still
that
need a
be more
variance for
pleasing?
22.
Would that is that a possibility in anyone's?
That's much better.
I was just saying, she's asking,
You're going the right direction. You're going the right way.
like, is it worth trying?
We could, if it would be stipulated that that's the most that would be given.
You have to agree that this looks 100% better.
It's not overflowing that box. essentially.
Exactly.
Right, but which really looks terrible. Secondly, I can only give you my opinion. My opinion is that it would look much better without the tagline. And that was the problem that the county had with it. So you would still, I would guess, get the same answer from the county, which would still require a majority plus one, which you may get without me. I mean,
But Betty, they don't, if they say, Neil, if they say they want to go that way, they don't need to go, the county doesn't have to review it again, do they? They come down in size?
If you chose,
Because we're giving them minimum
Oh, I see. what-
variance, aren't we?
actually, the way that this is set up for purposes of the vote, the county's letter is about the 27.5 square foot sign. You need a majority plus one.
Right, but for that one?
But for this one, which would represent a change to the application, you don't have to circulate this back. What you're effectively doing is taking into account the county's comments, modifying.
Reducing, right?
You're using your discretion to essentially modify and grant a different type of variance.
So if everybody agreed that that would be a better possibility.
If you are all comfortable with this,
they could.
And what I'm hearing is that it, I'm sorry.
She says it's a local concern, it's not,
Oh, they didn't object? Then what were all those comments about then?
Okay, yeah, they're absolutely not required.
so it doesn't require the majority? All right, so we, all right.
So, but getting back to it, if the board is comfortable with the sign, the additional taglines within sort of this framework.
Right, we
of
could
the
go ahead
building,
tonight.
You could go ahead and grant that tonight. If for purposes of the business, if their conversations with corporate say that this doesn't fly, then they'll have to make a decision. At least you could take the matter tonight and dispense with it, and they may have to come back for another application.
Because of their end.
At their end, right.
Okay.
Well, realistically though.
It's gotta go that way, doesn't it?
Not gonna grant anything greater than that, so. So there's, whatever decision corporate makes, it's either, it's either that or.
It's either that or we go with the,
Right.
you know, we're stuck.
Yeah.
But I would like to at least attempt to do that so that everybody is happy and we're not throwing stuff in the windows. And I really, this is a very special building. I don't think putting things in the windows is the answer. I really don't. I think it tends to, it's just not for that building.
Okay.
I really, I don't know.
Signs for
That's
the
my-
most part, in my mind, maybe is that they should be for identification. If I want to go to BurgerFi, if I'm looking for a burger, I don't really want to know what's on your menu till I get in there. And when you think about it, if everyone had what they sold outside on the sign, it would be pretty tough riding around.
Well, it's not a menu, but it's,
Well, it
does
looks
let
like,
people know.
it looks like a menu, but I would assume that if you sold burgers, you would also sell fries. Although I have to admit, I didn't know that they sold beer and wine, but,
That's
you know, it
another
only takes one.
identifying factor that doesn't take place in a lot of burger places. So
They don't, no
Much
other,
disagreement of
This-
burger
this
eaters.
is a
other fast casual.
different concept.
Disagreement of burger eaters.
All right, so we've, does it,
More
yes,
You know, everybody-
Anthony has another question.
Yes.
Is it possible for argument's sake, take a new picture,
What's the measurement? What's the?
throw in
that?
those taglines in those underneath these windows so that you can see the entire building, present it to us so we can see what it would look like?
Here?
I know you don't like it,
That's the same.
Well, I'm trying to avoid coming back from the standpoint that he's got to open a business and you can't make something overnight. And these things, even if they're being supplied by a company, they're not in the warehouse just waiting to come. So.
You said you want to open
It
when?
takes time to get it
You
back
open
September
here
16th.
and installed.
So how long does it take you to make a sign, this particular sign?
I'm not making it, we're just installing it.
Oh,
So it has
didn't
to
I
be
ask that
ordered.
before?
That's,
That, I was under the impression
Isn't
that
that-
you did make it.
oh, we are? Oh, great, okay. Swear to God, I didn't
Okay.
know. I wasn't informed.
How long
Okay.
to
Because
fabricate?
sometimes this is definitely, supplied by someone else. But evidently, we are able to do that. We have permission.
How long does it take to fabricate this?
It's going to be a few weeks.
This is a few weeks, 2 weeks?
No, it's probably more. Right now on the schedule, I would definitely say at least 3 to 4 weeks. That'd be pushing it.
So one more question. Is there any way that if you just got BurgerFi, then you would add on the natural burgers? Could that be done? The taglines, could you eventually add on to it?
No.
What?
No.
Okay, that's it.
Larry?
No, it's enclosed, that's it.
Larry, do you have any questions?
No question.
Anyone else? Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address this application? Okay, so you don't want to adjourn it, we're gonna,
Can we base it off the 22?
Sure.
I think we'll make a motion for 22.
and that 22%,
22 square feet.
22 square feet, yeah. Includes a tagline.
Everything, this whole sign.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alrighty, you can hang out or call the office in the morning.
Very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was the last one. Yeah.
Can we take a break?
Oh, we'll take a 5-minute break. Adjourned.
Yeah.
When I have to push buttons that I can't reach.
Hit them all, hit them all.
At this time, we would resume the Town of Poughkeepsie Zoning Board of Appeal meeting for August 11, 2014. We have adjourned items number 1 and 2. Item number 3 is Hane Fakori, 111 Spackenkill Road. We don't usually take testimony, but is there something that you?
I'd just like to just simply make a statement. When this application was put together, the intent was to correct a situation. It was not intended to make misrepresentations to the board about either what was there or what was intended to be done, and it certainly was not intended to upset the neighborhood, and particularly the neighbors next door. In conferring with Mr. Fakori, he would like to withdraw this application.
Okay. Do we have to do anything or just?
No, I mean, it's withdrawn without prejudice for the record, so if he wants to bring it again, he
Yeah,
can.
we're going to withdraw and apologize. We'll keep it as one family. And
What's that do to the order to remedy?
He'll just have to do whatever Sarah says that else, or Sarah is at the building department, says that it has to be done to be brought back into compliance. Like he said something about it, I don't know what it is, maybe whatever.
Yeah, I talked to Sarah
Move
before. I
the
think
kitchen or
just
take
get
down
rid
a
of-
wall, who knows what they require.
I think it was just the oven was supposed to be taken out. That's fine.
Do
We'll
we
keep.
have to vote for this?
No, you just
No?
acknowledge it and just
Acknowledge, okay.
without prejudice. I mean, they could make an application for another apartment at a later time if they wish.
Right.
I'll double check the property and hire different maintenance people to clean around the house and stuff.
Good.
All right, thank you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Number 5, item number 5, 6 Debbie Court. Does anybody have any,
No,
I have a question. Whatever is granted to this homeowner will be carried forward to the next homeowner?
Yes, the special permit runs with the land. It's not personal, right?
So what exactly is massage? I mean,
Fair question. Well, it's for, yeah, I mean, it's for home occupation, but it's a specific home occupation, though. I mean, I've not thought about it. Yeah, special permits do run with the land, but I've not thought about it in the home occupation context. But that's a legitimate question, though.
if I was next person come in, they could put a massage parlor in.
they could, I would interpret it as meaning they could have a home occupation. I don't know if it has to be, because we don't say a home occupation massage parlor / gym, home gym, or personal trainer.
Actually, we.
Just says home occupation. Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Whatever they identify as home
then-
occupation is what they're given permission for. Yes.
Right, but it's still, if a new owner came in, it still has to meet the criterion.
He would have to operate it within accordance, right.
Right.
And if that requires, let's say, particular licensure from the state, they would have to be licensed to do so, right?
Right. Because each application, in some cases, you would have employees, or you would have more parking, and it could be in the same kind of occupation, so it's all done.
How are these monitored? I mean, I know the apartments are monitored a certain way. Are those home occupations monitored?
We, not in the formal sense, we don't do inspections. We follow up on complaints as they come in. We just don't have the staff resources to be able to do annual or biannual inspections.
Sort of by definition, if they're not creating a nuisance, then they're.
Right. I mean, if you look at the criteria, it says that you're supposed to operate the business without any apparent, with the exception, let's say, of signage, and occasionally people coming and going, it's to give the outward appearance that it's still a house, being it's a dwelling.
Any special use permit can be inspected every 2 years, right? It could be.
Could be.
It could be.
The other thing is that the criteria is that only one home occupation per unit. So whether you're defining this as one or two, another question.
We accepted the application as one.
I think they're closely enough related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, one portion of the application that wasn't covered in the staff report was related to noise. The maximum noise level at the property line applicable to the use involved shall not exceed the maximum established under Chapter 139 of the Town Code. I mean, there's no noise unless they play really loud music, like exercise or whatever. I don't see how that could be a problem. The discharge of water, no polluting or objectionable waste shall be discharged into any stream or other natural drainage channel or upon the land that will in any way interfere with the quality, operation, or continuation of these natural systems or contribute to their spoliation. There's nothing that this home occupation is going to do that is going to generate any problems there. Traffic access, all proposed traffic access ways shall be adequate but not excessive in number. Adequate in width, grade and alignment, and visibility shall be sufficiently separated from street intersections and other places of public assembly and shall meet other similar safety considerations. It appears from the application, from the site visit, that standard would be met. Adequate off-street parking and loading spaces shall be provided in accordance with off-street parking and loading requirements of this chapter. Shared parking is encouraged where the peak parking demands of different uses occur at various times of the day. Use of a widely accepted means of projecting demand for shared use, such as the Urban Land Institute's shared parking report, may be employed to demonstrate shared parking effects. I don't think that's relevant. Circulation, the interior circulation system shall be adequate to provide safe accessibility to all required off-street parking and to provide for the convenience and safety of vehicular, pedestrian, and bicycle movement within the site and in relation to adjacent areas or roads. I mean, he has a decent-sized driveway. Does anybody see any?
And you can determine that any of these criteria are not relevant to this particular application.
Yeah, that doesn't appear to be relevant either. Landscaping and screening, all parking and service areas shall be reasonably screened during all seasons of the year from the view of adjacent residential lots and streets. And the general landscaping of the site shall be in character with that generally prevailing in the neighborhood. Existing trees 12 inches or more in diameter at breast height should be preserved to the maximum extent practical. The home occupation has been there for quite some time without any issues whatsoever. So I think that the neighbors are probably used to the landscaping that's there already, and I don't see where anything additional would be required since no one came in and complained. The character and appearance. The character and appearance of the proposed use, buildings, structures, outdoor signs, and lighting shall be in general harmony with the character and appearance of the surrounding neighborhood and shall not adversely affect the general welfare of the inhabitants of the town. I don't think that's relevant either. If you didn't know that the home occupation was there, you wouldn't notice it at all. Historic and natural resources, I think that's probably not relevant. Sewer treatment and water supply, the adequacy of available sewage disposal and water supply services supporting the proposed activity or use shall be sufficient to meet the needs of the proposed activity or use. This consideration should be given to both, including but not limited to the suitability of water supply and sanitary sewage facilities to accommodate the intended use and the adequacy of measures to protect surface and groundwater from pollution. Were they on municipal water?
Yes. No,
They are. Okay, so that's not relevant either. Should have looked that up before I read all that, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
The location and height of the buildings, the nature and height of fences, I think that's probably not relevant. Again, this home occupation has been there for many years without anyone even noticing that it was there. Additional safeguards and conditions, the zoning board of appeals shall impose additional conditions and safeguards upon the special use permit as may be reasonably necessary to assure continual conformance to all applicable standards and requirements, including temporary limitations and reasonable assurances that these standards and requirements, conditions, and safeguards can be reasonably monitored and enforced. I think that, again, I don't see where we need to put anything additional onto this home occupation. It meets the criteria in the code, and that is, if it meets that criteria, it's pretty much met all the standards that we could reasonably enforce anyway. Should I do the rest of them or just?
No, the rest of them are in the staff report.
Okay, all right.
So if you want to adopt the staff report, you can. Let's, let me take a quick look though and make sure there's nothing. Yeah, we need to go through the staff report, Betty, on this one, because this is the one where the staff has questions for you, which we've now gotten the answers to, which is, there should not be any detrimental effect on the establishment. So in order to
Okay.
address this question, provide a narrative describing the business operations, including number of employees, which was 1.
He said he had no employees.
Well, himself.
But himself, right.
Right, oh yeah, no, so
Right.
0 employees besides himself, and no maximum of 5 clients at a time. Okay, so that's been answered.
Right.
I just want to go through that.
So you want me to just go through, okay.
I don't think you have to read each one, I just think we need to go through and see if there's anything we need to.
Okay, that there shall not be any detrimental effect by the establishment of such use or other uses within the district.
No.
No, people are gonna be in good shape.
Yeah, right. I think that's
That's a no.
That's a no, okay. That such use will be in harmony with the orderly development of the district and the location, nature, and height of buildings, walls, fences, and parking areas will not discourage the appropriate development and use of adjacent land. It does not involve any, the business does not involve any function whatsoever. All of it is confined within the existing residence, so that standard would be met. That all structures, equipment, and materials shall be reasonably accessible for fire and police protection. That standard
Yes.
is yes. That the use meets the prescribed requirements for the district in which located, including minimum yard requirements for the district in which it is located, or as further specified in this section, including maximum height required off-street parking and sign languages that does meet that standard, sign regulations.
Then for the, those criteria that you read previously, plus those 4, they're more difficult because they're for all special use permits, so they almost seem, out of character for. So under the home occupation, I think the only one that potentially is I, which was the hours of operation, which we clarified was what, 9:30 was the earliest, he said, and what was the latest?
10, but.
Oh, sorry, 10 o'clock, and what was the latest?
Like 10 to
7 p.m.
5:30, right.
So he's within that, so he clarified that. And then I don't think,
And
then
then
there was one other, the staff report said that should verify the number of home occupations being, so we're calling this a single home occupation.
Right, because they're so similar, he does like some in the morning and a different one in the afternoon, et cetera. That the, no more than 25% of a residential building habitable space shall be devoted to the use, and it meets this standard,
They indicated it was 22%.
22%, right. Services and instruction offered shall be limited to no more than 5 clients and customers at a time. He testified that that's probably,
What was it, 22%?
right, that's normally what it is when he has his classes. Parking for each employee shall be provided. He already testified that there are no employees. So, Carmen, did you?
Oh, I'm sorry, just one other one. On C, you all did confirm that he is the It's his principal residence, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so basically when Carmen makes the motion, if she's willing to, is you could basically just make it if you're doing it, to approve it, to adopt the staff report as amended and supplemented by Ms. Bamba.
So you want me to read this then?
Sure.
Okay.
Want to make the motion? Sure.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, I move to approve the request for a special use permit set forth in item number 5. Sorry, I'm sorry. This decision is based on a review of the application, the testimony of the applicant, testimony gathered during the public hearing, and the results of site visits by board members and the staff report.
As amended and supplemented by.
Oh, yes.
And that it meets the criteria set forth by the code.
And it meets the criteria set forth by the code.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Recuse.
Oh,
You
Anthony
recusal?
recused.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, the next item is number 6, U-Haul 2175 to 2185 South Road. All right, this is another special use permit. Planning is all done with their portion. They did seeker, right, so we don't have to do it.
Oh, so it's not uncoordinated, it's coordinated?
It was coordinated.
Okay, that's what I thought, okay.
So we don't have to do
Don't have to
seeker,
do-
right? Okay.
But I'll be emailing Sandy tomorrow to find out the date. Wait for my email, Sandy.
Okay.
Or
So
maybe Carol.
should I read through these or?
No, I think that this one, no, it was just the
This one, it
two
was just-
home occupations that didn't cover those alternate criteria. Those alternate criteria are what are in this one. The noise in the district, it's all in here.
Okay.
Much
All right.
easier.
The staff report was supportive of the applicant.
Right. Anthony
I was
does,
gonna recuse myself from.
right, Anthony's recusing himself. Larry, do you want to try this one?
Which number is this?
Number 6.
You all?
It's number 6.
And it's a special use permit.
Are you having the alternate on this one or no? The second alternate or no?
I'm sorry?
Are we having a second alternate on this one to vote?
Oh, because Anthony
I know, but unless you're anticipating a split vote,
It doesn't matter.
I'm not necessarily sure it's needed.
Okay.
Oh,
All right, go ahead.
I move to approve the request for a special use permit set forth in item number 6. This decision is based on a review of the application, the testimony of the applicant, testimony gathered during the public hearing, the results of site visits by board members, and the staff report.
And that it meets the criteria set forth by the code for a special use permit. That's probably not written on there.
And approving this request for a special use permit.
Second.
Okay. I would like to add to that it's a reuse of a vacant building, and I'm always happy to see it done in the town, because there's nothing worse than vacant buildings hanging out all over the place. And it's not even gonna change the look of the building hardly at all. Is there a second?
Second.
Paul, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and 1 recusal. Okay.
You can't second anything else.
Okay. All right, Mr. Theodore at 3 Springside Avenue. Don't need that.
Betty, on this one, I think it would be wise to supplement the staff report a little bit.
I think with this one that, you really, to understand it, this is a case where you really have to see the site to understand, what we're doing with it, because it's very unique. And what it sounds like and what it is very different.
And I think that the applicant, I mean, I think you want to make sure as part of your resolution that the applicant did a good job in kind of pointing out the uniqueness, but how it's similar to the other ones in the neighborhood.
Oh, there's no question.
Right, so I think that you just want to make sure that's in the resolution here, because it's a big variance. You want to just make sure that you're covering why it's being granted. So I think that the staff report covers it to some extent, but I think the application materials are particularly helpful in this case.
Okay.
And I'm basing that on well said, because I'm not assuming what you're going to vote, other than I've kind of have heard what you all have been saying about the application.
Well, I'm saying that because I've already heard from other boards, or not heard, but saw other meetings where it was discussed. So that's why I said you really have to see the site to know
Go for it, Betty.
how unique it, huh?
Go for it.
Okay, all right, I make a motion that we approve the area variance set forth in item number 7. This decision is based on a review of the application, the testimony by the applicant, the testimony offered in the public hearing, the results of site visits by board members, and the staff report. In approving this variance, the board adopt as findings the determinations as found in items 1 through 5 of the staff report. And I would like to add that although the variance appears to be quite large, it is exactly within the character of the neighborhood, and the applicant has done previous work in the same neighborhood, and it really looks nice. What else can I say? It's the only thing that would fit in that parcel and look pleasing to the town. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and one recusal, right?
One recusal?
Anthony.
Okay.
Anthony. Okay,
It's been, no.
Okay.
Listen, I'm counting on you, Janice. This is not my regular job.
You just did such a good job of it, though, you know. Jim might start taking more vacations.
Oh, geez, I hope not. Okay,
Especially to leave you with
item
a
item
9
number
item
8,
agenda.
Kristen Magliato, 16 Mountain View Road. Special use permit. You coming back, Paul? Oh, well, you can get up. Special use permit for home occupation hair salon. Oh, I gotta go back to those
Yeah.
with them.
Want me to help you?
Yeah, I put them here somewhere. Oh, here they are. No, they're not.
I had them at one point.
Here they are.
can't find
I got them.
All right.
Punch. Okay, for the criteria, should I go through what's in the staff report first? Because everything has been met. All the standards have been met, except for how many appointments per day. When she testified, it's probably up to 10 per day.
Right, but it's not 5 at a time, more than 5 at a time.
It's
so-
not more than 5 at a time, so that's fine. And that's the only, everything else was,
I think the calculation on the square footage was only about 10% of the floor area.
Right.
If it, I don't know if it made it in the.
Now, here's a question. My question is, she said something about doing this home occupation in her dining room. Does that make a difference? Does she have to have an area dedicated to
Let me a sec.
I did visit the site. I don't know if you were there, but
Yeah.
there is, oh, you were inside?
We didn't go
No, I
in.
wasn't in, we were outside. We were-
Testified that there's a sink and everything.
There is a sink,
Yeah.
there's one chair.
So she's gonna use just that room?
Just
Okay,
that area that's there.
all right, okay.
No, there's nothing that requires it to be separate.
Okay.
This has to be subsidiary to the, entirely within the principal building. That's come up before as the whole, whether it's in the principal building, which obviously the dining room is.
Okay.
And with the other criteria, I mean, we can just say that it's the criteria in 210-149, and since you've read them all before, you can just read the titles. You don't have to read the details of each one as you go through it.
Okay, so it meets the criteria set forth in, would you say D10?
It's 210-149M.
149, noise, discharge of water, traffic access, parking, circulation, landscaping and screening, character and appearance, historic and natural resources, sewage treatment and water supply, size and scale, the location and height of buildings. And it seems to meet all of that criteria. Art?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, I move to approve the request for a special use permit set forth on item number 8. 8, thank you. The decision is based on a review of the application, the testimony of the applicant, testimony gathered during the public hearing, and results of site visits by board members and the staff report. There are no conditions.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
That's 6 and 1 recusal?
Oh, did we need to do seeker on that?
It is
I
unlisted.
didn't see a,
Yeah.
Yep.
And should we have done it on
Sure.
Rosario? Let's go back and do that.
no, I didn't see a.
Yeah, they're both unlisted.
Oops.
I mean, it's pretty simple. It's a home occupation. It's fairly standard.
Okay,
negative.
for item number,
Two holes unlisted as well.
Okay.
which one? Well, let's do this one first since we have it.
We
here.
have the
Item number 8, Christine
Forms?
Magliato. I didn't see one. Do we have one? Otherwise, that seems like I would have made a note.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't see one. We should fill one out now.
This happened because there was a plan for it or something.
You have it?
Yeah, I have.
Good. There we go.
Fill it out or just go
I
ahead.
heard you say that.
Not you, Paul. What a gentleman.
We have it on Rosario? I think we did, right?
You have one on,
Rosario?
she's looking.
No, 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 Rosario.
Nope.
It's weird.
Let's see one.
No, I don't have one for Rosario.
We'll have to vote on it. I mean, Neil will have to get him to fill it out and then vote on it next month.
Do we have to condition the special use permit based on a negative declaration?
Seeker being done.
Honestly, do the neg deck. We'll follow up on the paperwork.
Okay.
So should we,
Just go ahead and vote on it.
oh, okay,
He's gotta come in to pick up something, right, for this?
all right.
Is that,
Regarding
Follow up.
right,
item number 5,
yeah,
Work for it.
6 Debbie Court, based on the short EAF, I asked the board to adopt a resolution of non-significance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And the other one was number 8, 16 Mountain View Road. Based on the short EAF, I ask that the board adopt a resolution of non-significance, and for that item,
And act as lead agency.
oh. She wants more.
That's why you pay me.
And act as lead agency. Okay, we probably should have done that first. All in favor?
Aye.
Second?
You didn't get a second.
Is there
Second.
a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I've never really understood that with the uncoordinated review, because who else is going to do it? But
There's a lot I don't understand about that part. Okay. Did we do yes, we did that. Okay. We're now on number 9, BurgerFi.
Changing of the guard. Hold up a minute.
Yeah. All right. You want to talk about this one first? BurgerFi?
The only thing I think is that if they come in with that 22 square foot, it's going to fit almost, by the looks of it, right in that designated spot in the building. It should be okay.
You okay with the tag? With the
Yeah,
tag
they
lines?
come down 5 point some square feet, almost 6 square feet, I think, right? Went from 25.7 or something?
Yeah, it's a reduction.
What was it,
Yeah.
15?
27.5.
Yeah, but the board, just so we're clear, the board's intention is that the sign fit within
Right, that,
Right.
right,
frame,
The 20
not extend above or below.
Is it 21 or 22, right?
22 square feet.
Hmm?
And it should conform to the illustration they provided.
Yes.
Right, okay. Do we need, yeah, find that one.
I would still not be able to vote for the taglines.
To what?
She doesn't want to, she,
Oh,
I don't care what size the sign is. I don't want the menu underneath.
I'm not crazy about that either, but I can live with it if they bring it down to fit within that.
Well, keep in mind that the regulations are about the size of signage, not the content. And I understand people may have personal objections, but if you're granting it for a certain size, they get to put whatever they want within that size.
Sure.
Is the 22 square feet going to fit within that concrete?
That's what they will have to make fit.
Because the 15 is just fitting it, so now they're just going to expand it left to right in the hopes that they're gonna fit it.
Do we have the illustration?
Let's look at that
photo,
again.
or the,
That again.
you know, the computer generation looks like it, well, just.
Yeah, it fits.
I didn't see a 22 square foot.
22, right
Oh,
there.
is it? I
Does
didn't-
fit, yes.
Right.
I thought that was a 15.
No.
And that's up to the corporation whether they will
Actually-
approve this, right?
Actually, this does extend a little bit above and a little bit below onto the brick. So what I would suggest is a variance to allow it up to 22 square feet, provided same fits within that.
What do we call that? That's the problem I had before. I didn't know really what to call it.
The concrete insert.
Keeping in mind, it's a photo rendering, they're trying to get it to fit, it's, you know, it's representative, but that's the idea.
I have a question, actually. May I speak?
If you want to hear some.
Sure.
It's just more or less a question of.
You have to come back up, because
Where a sign, I mean, I think everybody agrees that's the best place for the sign. But is it zoning regulation that I have to have my sign there? Because we talk about that tagline. Again, it's just a general question. I mean, that's where we want it, that's where I'm going to put it. But as far as regulations go, realistically, I could put that sign wherever. I'm just confused about the whole process when we talk about that tagline.
that's where we want it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Right.
okay.
That's an obvious, ideal spot.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
I agree. It was
And
just-
that would be the condition of the variance, that
Yes.
would be
it was-
placed there.
I was just confused when we talk about that. I want to make, I agree 100% that that's, that's where it should go. I mean, it's not an issue like that, just to.
Yes, we're going to
Okay.
condition it.
Okay.
Paul, you want to do this one?
Sure. I move to approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 9. Decisions based upon the review of the application, the testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, the results of site visits by the board members, and a modified staff report, which I can't bring up. So, thanks. The original application was 27 and a half feet. The applicant, well, we would reduce it to 22 square feet, or so long as it does not exceed the concrete insert in the facade at 60 Raymond Avenue. I believe that's more in keeping with the appearance of other buildings along Raymond Avenue. The variance is substantial, but it's been reduced from his original application. I don't think that the 22 square feet will have an adverse effect on the neighborhood. There are other larger signs along the same strip. And although it's self-created, I don't find that as a barrier to granting the application.
And we are granting the minimum variance required or needed for him to support the location of his business.
Correct. And I would approve that variance subject to the following conditions: that it conform with the illustration provided, and that it fit within or not exceed the boundaries of that concrete insert on the facade at 60 Raymond Avenue.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Anthony, did you vote on this one?
Aye, aye.
Oh.
I'm an aye. Aye, aye.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I'm opposed to this, so.
Did you vote no?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I didn't catch that. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. 2, 3, 4, 5,
Be there
6.
opening night.
6-1.
You're gonna be there opening night.
Okay,
County, right?
Anonymous restaurants.
having no further business, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good work, Betty. I told my husband I was coming home till 11.